in Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella. I'm in studio with Big Easy, J-Dash, and JK47. He is locked, loaded, and ready to go. Baseball almanac in hand, weapon at his hip.
Pleasure to be here, Jim.
Well, let's get this segment going so that we can actually talk about something fun afterwards. Football.
AL right field we're going to do today, and I think this is a strong group of players. We're going to
Travis Snider's on the list, so I'm going to disagree with you right away.
Yeah. Number 15 is a platoon between Seth Smith and Justin Ruggiano for the Mariners. They're both coming in for the first time this season. Smith had a pretty decent year with the Padres last year. He hit .266, had a very nice on-base percentage at .367. He has a little bit of pop. He hit 12 home runs and 443 at-bats last year. What I like about him is his walk rate. He had 69 walks. But really, those numbers aren't far off of his career numbers. He's a .265 career hitter with a .347 on-base percentage. So the on-base percentage only went up 20 points. So that's pretty much what he is. And he hit double-digit home runs every season he played at least 125 games. So that pop is for real.
Well, we were talking about the Mariners. They're up and coming, you know.
Yeah.
They had a good stretch last season. Just missed out.
The only thing I know about the Mariners is they have that pitcher.
Well, Smith is going to...
What's his name?
King Felix.
Yeah, he's a beast. They have Robinson Cano, too.
And Lloyd
Picked up
McClendon's
Nelson
their coach.
Cruz in free agency, too.
Lloyd McClendon's their coach. They are irrelevant.
But anyways, Smith is going to bat against right-handed pitching while Ruggiano is expected to bat against lefties. And he actually had a pretty good season last year with the Cubs. He hit .281, had a .337 on-base percentage. The 6 home runs was actually down from his numbers from previous years. He had 13 in 2012 and 18 in 2013. And his speed was down too. He had 2 stolen bases, whereas he had double digits the previous 2 years.
And at 14, we have Josh Reddick. He's, I think it was his birthday yesterday, 28 years old.
Yep.
Plays for the Oakland A's. Last year he hit .264 with a .316 on-base percentage. Only 12 pops, 54 RBIs. I'll go use my quotations and say those were mediocre stats. And really his career statistics aren't much better either. But he's right where he belongs here at 14 on the list.
Yeah, actually, those numbers were a little bit above his career numbers in terms of average. But he's been pretty productive when he's healthy. The problem is he can't stay in the lineup. He has problems with his knees. Back in 2012, he hit 32 jacks for the A's. So everybody thought this guy was going to be a big power hitter.
Of the steroid era.
Yeah, but it just wasn't for real. He's more of just a 250 hitter and maybe 15 to 20 jacks at the most.
All depends on health. He's missed significant times with injuries the last 2 years of his career. You know, you got to wonder how that's affected his power.
Yeah, he's never had more than 385 bats in any year of his career. All right, let's move on to number 13. He was a rookie last year for the Rays, Kevin Kiermaier. He was also a Gold Glove candidate. He played pretty well, I guess. He hit .263, .315 on base percentage isn't that great. But he showed pop. He had 10 home runs and 331 at-bats for him. But if you go back and look at his minor league career, he had 1,448 at-bats and he hit just 15 home runs. So I'm not quite sure that power is for real. But look, he's good on defense. His walk rate needs to go up a little bit, but he's just going into his second year. He's going to turn 25 in April. His K rate, you got to work on that a little bit, but I think this can be a pretty decent player for the Rays, but I'm not quite sure he's their future.
No, definitely not, as they continue to struggle to put people around Evan Longoria.
Yeah, Longoria had a down year last year, too.
Nobody wants Evan Longoria to beat him. So,
Please believe.
Other than him and Zobrist in that lineup, you know, who really do they have?
And now here at number 12, we have Avisail Garcia for the Chicago White Sox. Last year he had .244 with .305 on base, 7 home runs and 29 RBIs. His career numbers are a little bit higher than that, .272, .314 on base percentage. Even with the .305 on base percentage, you can see that there's a reason why, because even when he was in the minor leagues, he was never able to take a walk, but his walk rate did increase a little bit in a small size last year. But
yeah, he is just going to be turning 24 in June, so he's still a young player. He only had 463 major league at-bats, so there's still room for him to prove. But like you said, you go back and look at his minor league career, and he just couldn't take the walk, and that could be a problem for his growth. If he can't fix that, he's not going to last too long. But he does have power. That 7 home runs in 172 at-bats isn't bad. He actually came up in the Detroit Tigers system, and he looks a little bit like Miguel Cabrera, and everybody was saying this is the next Miguel Cabrera, but they were dead wrong. He's still a pretty good power hitter, but he's nowhere close to Miguel.
7 jacks doesn't seem that good.
Well, it's just 172 at-bats. In a full season, he could multiply that by 3. You got around 21 jacks. That's not too bad. Number 11, we're going to go with Travis Snider and Steve Pearce for the Orioles, because Snider will probably start, but they also got Pearce. He can play there. If Chris Davis is having a bad season, maybe they play Pearce at first base and Snider plays a little bit more in the outfield. They also got to fill the DH, so one of them could always be playing DH as well. So I see both Snider and Pearce playing some right field for the Orioles.
2 former Pirates. Don't the Orioles understand that if you can't play for the Pirates, you probably shouldn't be in the league?
Well,
Yeah,
hey.
but if these guys are smart, they know the people that leave Pittsburgh get world championships also.
Well, listen, Snider had his best season last year. He hit .264, had a .338 on-base percentage, 13 home runs and 322 at-bats ain't bad. If he can get more at-bats with the Orioles, this is one of the best ballparks to hit home runs in, so he could actually get up around 20, maybe a little over 20 home runs if he gets up around 450 at-bats, maybe a little more. This guy was a top prospect in the Blue Jays system forever. He just never met his full potential, and he's really never got the chance. That 322 at-bats last season, that was his most in any year.
I wonder how red his face gets in the cold, considering it's already red. If it's -5 degrees, you think the whole thing turns red? He's like Rudolph, except for it's his face, not his nose.
And then we have Steve Pearce, who had a big season last year. It wasn't a full season. He only had 338 at-bats, but he hit .293. A .373 on-base percentage is huge. Had 21 home runs. This guy really never did anything for the Pirates when he was here. He spent, 5 seasons with them? But his power finally broke out last season.
Well, he's definitely a guy that gets on base, you know. I mean, he's on base 37% of the time.
Yeah, he has a nice walk rate. 40 walks, 338 at-bats. That's pretty, a little bit above average for a Major League Baseball player.
You got to like him, 21 home runs in them 338 at-bats.
Yeah, a lot of people have questions. Is this power for real? I mean, if he got 500 at-bats, we're talking almost a 30 home run baseball player here. And a .293. His career is .255 hitter. Is that for real? He's already 32, so there's a good chance that was just an outlier season for him.
So to start the top 10, break it down here, we got Alex Rios from the reigning AL champion Kansas City Royals. He hit .280 last year with a .311 on-base percentage, 4 home runs, 54 RBIs, just the same runs, 93 Ks. This will be his first year with Kansas City.
Maybe he can get things going again then. You know what? Look at his .213 numbers. He was injured a little bit last season. He was playing with a lot of injuries. What do I have written here? Oblique, ankle, and thumb injuries. So he had a lot of injuries he was dealing with. 2013, 18 home runs, 42 stolen bases. Now I look at his age. He turned 34 2 days ago. So maybe not 42 stolen bases out of him this year. That's a little bit too much from him at this age. But 20 stolen bases maybe, and maybe he can get back up around that 18 home runs, and he could be a pretty decent baseball player for him.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I've always liked Alex Rios as a player, but I mean, them 4 home runs last year in the ballpark at Arlington, and then moving to the spacious Kauffman Stadium, that has to be a concern for you.
Yeah, it does, but at least he has more protection in the lineup. Texas was ravaged by injuries last season, and really
Kansas City has some decent offensive pieces, though, but I mean, none of them are by means like I'm not really scared of facing anybody in that lineup, to be honest with you. They got some good players.
Alex Gordon's a good player. Eric Hosmer's still got to break out. Moustakas, I don't think he's ever going to break out.
Well, this is a make it or break it season for him, but you probably talked about him with your third baseman.
We didn't do that segment yet, so maybe you'll be here for it and you can rip on him then.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I still think he can be a pretty good baseball player. I just look at his 2013 numbers. He's one season away from being an all-star. Let's go with number 9. I think this guy could be higher on the list if you wanted to say, but he had a bad season last year. Carlos Beltran, he turns 38 in April, so he's at the very end of his career.
I always get him confused with Carlos Baerga. What position did he play?
Second base for the Mets,
and
mostly.
Indians.
Yeah,
Maybe both because they're called Carlos. That's a little confusing to me.
Probably it.
I think he was in Arizona Diamondback, too.
See, I'd think more of Beltran.
Carlos Beltran is the truth. He is a solid major leaguer.
He's going into his second season with the Yankees. He hit just 233 with them last year.
How solid that is.
Aside from the 233 average, you got to look at that 301 on base percentage. Definitely the lowest of his career.
Yeah, but he still hit 15 home runs and 403 at bats. His walk rate went down a lot over the past few seasons, but that usually happens to older players. But you just go back and look. In 2013, he had 24 jacks and 84 RBIs with St. Louis. He played for St. Louis in 2012 too, had 32 homers and 97 RBIs. So again, this is another guy that's just 1 year off of being an all-star.
And at number 8, we have Shin-Soo Choo, the stunning right fielder for the Texas Rangers.
That's a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. JK47.
Shin-Soo.
Shin-Soo.
Shay Choo. He hit 240. Shay Choo hit 242 last year with a 340 on base percentage. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice on base percentage. 13 home runs and 455 at bats ain't terrible either.
131 Ks hurts.
Yeah.
It's a little higher. It's actually higher than his career numbers. He's a 282 career hitter, actually, with a 383 on base percentage. So this guy was actually a beast at one time. He hit 280 or better in 7 of the past 8 seasons. And he, with the Reds in 2013, he hit 21 homers and had 20 stolen bases, along with a 423 on base percentage. So this guy can be a beast. I think he's just getting a little bit older. He's going to be 33 in July. I think he's heading towards the end of his career, which wasn't a long career because he didn't start out as a young rookie.
Well, considering he just signed that massive contract a year ago, you got to look. You got to look at the injury too. Definitely took his toll on him last season. Caused him a little bit of speed. As you can see though, he still has that plate discipline. So
Definitely.
That 340 on base percentage, with 30 or 40 more hits, easily turns into 37, 38, 39%.
Right. Yeah, and like we said, the speed dropped down last year, but maybe without the injuries, he can pick that up. And he's been hitting double-digit home runs for a good 6-7 years now.
Definitely. Lots of questions down there in Texas, though.
Yeah, that's my problem. That's probably why I have him at 8. Texas just has no protection in their lineup. Number 7, we're going to go with another former Pittsburgh Pirate. He plays for the Indians now. It's Brandon Moss. He's 31 years old. He hit just 234 last year, a little under his career numbers, but still, the power's there. He had 25 home runs, 81 RBIs, 70 runs. He takes the walk with the best of them, 67 walks and 500 at bats. He does K too much, though, and that's his one downfall, is he Ks a ton. But really, when he played for the Pirates, we know he didn't really do anything. And until 2012...
Fit right in then, huh?
Until 2012, when he went to the A's, he was really nothing. But as soon as he went there, he spent 3 seasons with them before coming over to the Indians this year. And he had 76 home runs in those 3 seasons. So the power is for real. Do you think it'll transfer to Cleveland? No.
Maybe, maybe not. A little bit colder in Cleveland. He's been spending his last couple of years, in the cozy confines of Oakland.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not that the stadium's nice.
I think Brandon Moss this is overrated.
This is overrated?
Yeah,
I can see. Yeah.
Moss in the top 10 is overrated if you ask me. Well, we'll have to find out.
Well, I tell you, it's hard to find someone that can hit 25 home runs and give you 80 RBIs these days.
I don't see it. I don't see that. I don't even see him coming close to that this year. But now a guy who is proven at number 6 here. Now we have Torii Hunter for the Minnesota Twins.
He's going to be turning 40 this year.
He turned 40 to hitting a big 4-0. He is a solid major leaguer. 286 last year, 319 on base percentage, 17 jacks and 83 RBIs. I mean, can't ask for nothing more than from a 40-year-old. I mean,
yeah, for real. But he's back with the Twins now, finally.
Yeah, it's something
I think
else.
it just might be Torii Hunter's swan song.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear
Torii
you.
Hunter's back to the Twins, and Kevin Garnett's back to the Timberwolves. It's old man time in Minnesota.
Nostalgia time in Minnesota.
But listen, it's not like his season last year was an outlier season for his old age. In 2013, he was even better. He hit 304 out of 334 on base, 17 jacks, and 84 RBIs. The only thing with him is that over the past 3 seasons, which again, it happens to older players, his walk rate's going down, so his on-base percentage is going down as well.
I mean, it's like Carlos Beltran. He's losing some bat speed, having a little bit of trouble catching up to that fastball, you know. So you do that, you start your swing earlier, you're going to be fooled on some of them off-speed pitches.
But unlike Carlos Beltran, Torii Hunter is just a pro's pro, and he knows how to handle it, still keep his batting average nice, put up some pop. This guy gets it done in many ways.
He definitely does, and he's still a plus defender also.
Please believe.
Okay, next up, we have J.D. Martinez.
At number 5.
Detroit Tigers, last year, career season, 315 average, 358 on base percentage, 23 home runs, 76 RBI. Not too shabby. Did that all in 441 at bats.
Yeah, you put that into a full season. He had a huge year.
Yeah, well, I've seen him have a couple key hits last year too in games.
It always helped too having Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera around.
But like you said, man, it was a huge breakout season for him last year with those 23 home runs. In his first 3 seasons, all with the Astros, he had 24 combined. So this really came out of nowhere. When he first came out, people thought he was going to be a good baseball player. He never matured with Houston. But when he came over to the Tigers, it really helped. And I think he can do it again. Maybe not the average. The 315 average is asking a lot. His career is a 272 hitter. I could see 280, 285. I think the power is for real, though. But you got to work on his walk rate a little bit.
Absolutely. And 126 strikeouts and 441 at-bats.
Yeah.
That's got to be a little bit of a red flag also.
That's another reason that 315 average is a little high. At number 4, we're going to go with the Angels and Kole Calhoun. I really like this guy. He was a Gold Glove candidate last year. He's only 27 years old. He hit 272 with a 325 on-base percentage. Nothing spectacular there. He had 17 home runs and 493 at-bats. He's just a smart baseball player. He scored 90 runs for him. He hit leadoff most of the season. But he's still early in his career. I wouldn't say he's young. He is 27. But still, just 711 major league at-bats. So I think this guy still has room to improve.
Oh, absolutely. And there's still some power out there in Anaheim,
Yeah, they got a nice lineup out there.
See what happens with Josh Hamilton out
I
there.
hear his rehab's going to take a little longer than expected.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have enough players, though. It's actually C.J. Cron will probably DH until Hamilton comes back, and then they'll decide from there what to do, because Cron, he's still a young player too, so if he doesn't hit, Hamilton will fill in for him.
Yeah,
Cron.
Sweet name.
Yeah, I think it's actually Cron, C.J. Cron.
We'll call him Cron on the spread.
I always call him Cron, yeah.
Yeah, he's got speed. Calhoun's probably
speed to burn.
Calhoun's
like
probably one of the speedier right fielders here on the top 5.
Well, besides the number 3 guy, George Springer, this guy is a monster. He only showed 5 stolen bases last season in 295 at-bats, but it was his debut season. He's only 25 years old. Yeah, he only hit 231, but the 336 on-base percentage is nice considering how low the average is. He had 39 walks, which is huge. And this guy is supposed to be a big-time prospect.
Oh, this guy's going to be a masher.
Yeah.
20 home runs, 295 at-bats.
Yeah,
wow.
That's huge. Go look at his 2013 season in the minors between AA and AAA. He had a 303 average. That's what people were looking for. Although, look, 114 Ks and 295 at-bats in the pros.
161.
That's going to keep your average down. That's why I'm scared this guy may not be what he showed in the minors, which is a 400 on-base guy. 37 homers and 45 stolen bases and 492 at-bats in 2013 minors. That's huge. He was 3 home runs away from a 40-40 season. But like I said, he still K'd a lot in the minors. He took a lot of walks, but 114 Ks, there's no way in hell you can be a 40-40 guy or even a 30-30 guy when you K that much.
No, definitely not. Got to hit the ball to hit it out of the ballpark.
Unless you're Pedro, then you either hit it out of the ballpark or swing and miss. But I hear our boy Dejan Kovacevic posted something today. Pedro is embracing his move to first base more than in the last recent weeks. He's actually out there working on field some extra time, so we'll see if your boy Dash can get it together.
He needs to. We need to get 30 home runs out of him.
Could be a difference between a division-winning team and a team that goes home.
Now we're going to finish the AL right fielder player rankings with the top 2 players. Everyone's been waiting for him. Mookie Betts for the Red Sox.
I love this guy. He's only 22 years old.
Wasn't there a Mookie Betts basketball player?
Mookie Wilson?
Mookie Wilson?
That was a baseball
That was
player.
a baseball player. Mookie
He hit the
Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock.
Yeah, there it is.
I think Pearl Jam's first name was actually Mookie Blaylock, but they had to change it because...
Yeah, they got sued.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to Mookie Betts here. This guy is such a monster. In the minors, he had 1,116 career bats. He took 174 walks and had 137 Ks in that time. He hit .315, a 400 on-base percentage. He had 92 steals. He does everything. He can play nearly any position. He is tiny, but he came in the last season at 5'9", 155 pounds. But he reportedly showed up at 181 pounds of muscle this season. So we'll have to see.
He was working out with Barry Bonds, huh?
And yeah, this guy is awesome in my mind. He already hit .291 last year, had a .368 on-base percentage, and 189 at-bats, which was his MLB debut. But I was just reading a report today that if Shane Victorino is healthy, they are going to play him over Mookie Betts. Which, don't get me wrong, Victorino is a good baseball player still. But that's just insane to me, sitting Mookie Betts.
Oh, definitely. I mean, here's a guy who's going to be an anchor of your lineup possibly for the next 10 years.
And a spark plug, too. He does everything right, in my mind.
So when you guys get married, am I going to be invited to the wedding?
But anyways, they have besides Shane Victorino, let's say he's healthy, they have Alan Craig too. They got to figure out what to do with this outfield because they have too many players. They're putting Hanley Ramirez in the outfield. They have Rusney Castillo they just brought over from Cuba to play center field. Mookie Betts, Shane Victorino, Alan Craig, Jackie Bradley Jr.
So you trade him Pedro for Mookie Betts and move Betts to first base.
Dude, if they would do it, I would do it in a heartbeat. You'd have to give up more than Pedro Alvarez, though. Because this guy's 22. Pedro's coming off a down season. You'd have to give up more.
Give him your first-round pick. You got enough talent in your organization.
I'd do it.
That's the type of moves they need to make.
I'd give him Alan Hansen, too. Mookie Betts can play second base. So there goes your future second baseman, Alan Hansen. You can have Pedro, sign Walker, move him to first. Mookie Betts at second base is where it's at.
She's giggling like a little schoolgirl. All right, Jeff, break them down. Give them number 1.
All right, number 1 on our spread, right fielder AL countdown.
Another former Pirate.
Another former Bucko.
It's funny how many former Pirates are good with other teams. It just proves how bad the Buccos were.
No, it just proves they produce talent. There's
Yeah,
so many
these
good players
dudes were
to go
garbage
through.
when they played for the
There's
Pirates.
so many good players to come through Pittsburgh. They can't do anything but just spread the love.
All right.
Garbage.
That's the
If you
first
haven't
time I've ever heard that in my life.
Haven't figured it out yet? Jose Bautista. This guy has been an absolute beast since getting into the Toronto Blue Jays organization.
Please believe.
Had a healthy season last year, 553 at-bats. Had a .403 on base percentage, 35 home runs, 103 RBI, scored 101 runs. So, I mean, you got to like the 104 walks also,
Yeah, he's always been great at taking the walk.
So, I mean, this is a guy I actually really like. I liked him whenever he was a Pittsburgh Pirate. I didn't think they gave him enough of a chance. But
yeah, he was hitting double-digit home runs for the Pirates his last 2 or 3 seasons.
He wasn't hitting 50.
No, he definitely beefed up as soon as he went to Toronto.
I guess steroids are easier to get in Canada, though, I think.
But look at
They're
this.
Free healthcare.
Yeah, they're free.
He's
Damn
hitting double-digit
Canadians.
home runs ever since 2006. In 2010, he had 54, 2011, 43, 2012, 27, 2013, 28, and like we said last year, 35. This guy is a monster. He's still nowhere close to even 400 home runs yet because it started so late in his career.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, a couple more seasons like this, it'll be close.
He's too old. Dash doesn't like people that are this old.
No,
He's not
I don't
allowed
know.
to play past 32.
Listen, 34, that's getting at the end of where your prime should be, and he should be slowing down soon. And really, look, he had a 286 average last season. His career average is 258. He's really not a 286 hitter. More of a 260, 265 these days.
Maybe he hits for less power and better average as he gets older because he's maturing as a player.
Well, 35 home runs isn't much less
I
power.
think he hit over 300 that year. He had 54
Oh, yeah.
jacks.
Yeah, the year he hit 54 jacks, he hit over 300. But he hit 260 and 250 the years after or something like that. But really, it doesn't matter because he takes over 100 walks most seasons. And he's only K'd 100 or more times 4 times in his career.
Well, he's definitely a disciplined hitter. You know, I mean, having that good batter's eye and allowing him to see that pitch just a little bit extra, you know, that's so much more of an advantage that he has.
He actually played a little bit of first base for the Blue Jays last season, too, and he's obviously going to DH some, but he's everything you want in a baseball player.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit of a suspect with the glove, a little bit, but I mean...
That's all right, though.
I'll
When you
take
hit
that.
35 jacks, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up a wonderful segment by the three of you with a nice couple jokes thrown in there by me. Dash, I know how much you love my jokes. I want to thank
Garbage.
you fans for listening. You guys could follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Any baseball questions, hit us up, #JDash. I also want to throw this out there. I hit up on my own Twitter account now. You want to follow me and the spread at the same time? All you got to do is follow Jim Sella at BetJimToWin.
You hate, we debate.
Spread 'em.